Ham and Eggers, welcome back here to the J-Dogg Nation Network, and this is, I believe, our 6th unofficial podcast on the channel, and this is your Wednesday Night War review for week number 2 of All Elite Wrestling and NXT going head-to-head on Wednesday night. Fun time to be a fan. If you didn't see week 1, go check it out, man. Me and the boss man get into Wednesday night and what we think about it and the feel of it. Kind of feeling going back to the Monday Night Wars and how this feels, which I'll get a little bit more into that, how this is, I guess, the same but totally different at the same time. So anyway, just want to thank you all, man, for being on board, and don't forget to hit that like button, help the channel out, man. Subscribe if you're new around here. Go check all the good content out, the WWE 2K19, especially my bread and butter here in the channel, which is the best damn universe mode. Love getting creative, love doing that stuff, man. It's fun. It's good mental health therapy for myself, and just, again, fun, man. At the end of the day, fun stuff. So when I see the agenda here, what would I... Oh, yes, if those of you who are wondering, those of you who are new know that me and J&W Boss have been doing... And speaking of J&W Boss, let me cut myself off. Speaking of J&W Boss, Boss man, get your stuff ready, man. Get your stuff corrected here. Technical difficulties that he's having with his PlayStation 4 right now, and we're unable to do this. So some technical difficulties for J&W Boss. He's not going to be joining me here tonight. And just get your stuff cleaned up, man. Get your stuff cleared up so we can get on here. He got suspended off of ECW. He's done, and now here he's got his technical difficulty. So we miss you, boss man. Get back on the channel, brother. And anyway, so those of you who have not been around, or those of you who have, let's go back and recap. Me and J&W Boss have been previewing and reviewing shows, a couple pay-per-views. I think we started at SummerSlam weekend with NXT and SummerSlam, and then Clash of Champions. So we're doing a competition, see who can get more right, a pool here, if you will, a competition of picks, and we're going to see who has it right. We still have not come up. We've almost narrowed it down to what's going to be our punishment or our reward for winning or losing, and we'll reveal that soon enough. We've narrowed it down to a few things. I'm not going to mention it yet because we haven't decided, but we're going to do that. But for those of you who said, well, what the hell is the Hell in a Cell preview or review? And you know what? WWE didn't put a lot of effort into Hell in a Cell. I believe they had like 3 matches announced, and then they announced Charlotte versus Bayley right at the end. So we weren't really invested in it either. We're like, you know what? We threw our picks out there anyway on Twitter, me and the boss man. So we have that there. I believe nothing changed because we got all the matches wrong except the main event, which was I don't know. I don't even know what to call the main event. I have no idea what I was watching. Most people kind of felt the same way. Most people were disappointed for different reasons. Some for the over-the-top 10 curb stomps and all the stuff they did to kill the Fiend, or Seth Rollins was trying to do. We get it. Me and Bossman talked off the air. We get what they were trying to go to. They were trying to, I guess, protect the Fiend, make him look like a monster, at the same time protect your world champion, that he was willing to do anything and go to that dark place. And, but at the end of the day, a no disqualification or a no contest, whatever the hell it officially was. First I heard a no DQ. I've read some other places, then they changed it. It was a no contest. So I predicted a no contest myself. I thought somebody was going to come in and interfere, and it was going to be that kind of ending. Boss man thought that it was going to be, I think he said the Fiend winning. Yeah, the Fiend winning the championship. So the Fiend might have won by DQ, or it might be a no contest. So we don't know who's right or wrong there. When I get Boss man on, we'll decide and see. We might just scratch that off and kind of just stayed tied because, again, we didn't, all the other matches we got wrong, so the record there stands. But we'll talk about that another day, man. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that because some people might say, well, where's the Hell in a Cell preview and review? I mean, not that we have a long list of listeners right now. I mean, this podcast is just getting going, and I just actually hit the 500 mark on this channel, man. So, yay, a little clap for me, a little golf clap here. 500 subs, man. I want to thank you all Thank all of you, man. Third Strike, Coltrane, XTV, Mark, J&W Boss, especially you, brother, been a big part of this since day one, and Super Kick. And I'm missing some of you guys, man, but just I want to thank you all. You guys know who you are, man. We're a small community, small tight community, but we're beasts, man. Everybody doing a lot of good work and having a lot of fun. The channels will be there in the description as well as on the cards here, so go check out everybody. Subscribe to them, hit that like button, and catch everybody. I got myself ECW coming up on Thursday. ECW Friday Night Fights, yes, but it's on Thursday. It was recorded previous week, but it'll be premiering this Thursday at 5:30, so catch that. Hit that notifications bell and hit that reminder. So it can be reminded when the premiere goes off, man, and it should be a good show. Again, J&W Boss got suspended, so it'll just be me going solo, just like I am here today. And I might be blabbing away. I mean, J&W Boss kind of keeps me on track, and I might be blabbing away and rambling here for 2 hours. So let me try to keep myself on track here. What we're here for is Wednesday Night War, but I just wanted to give you guys that quick bit on Hell in a Cell. I'm not going to get into that because like I said, I think a lot have been said already, and everybody said what needed to be said about that, and let's just kind of move on. It left such a bad taste in my mouth that I didn't even want to watch. I didn't watch Raw the next day, and I still actually haven't seen SmackDown either from last week, so I did catch a little bit of Raw this week, try to look over the draft picks and all that, and we might have another show on the draft, but honestly, I mean, it looks like a lot of people landed on the same show, and I really don't know, honestly, why they even had a draft, or I don't know, man. I kind of like the bit where they were having the executives in the back, and if they do that where they're behind the scenes, that they don't have these on-air authority figures, I'm all for that. I'm fine with that, but it's still, Raw and SmackDown aren't exciting me, and especially after what happened Hell in a Cell, I'm not emotionally invested in any of these shows on Raw or SmackDown, even though I'm still going to follow along, man. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a WWE fan, hoping that one day they turn it around. Speaking of turning around, NXT, you know, man, us wrestling fans, most of us wrestling fans love us some NXT. And now they're going head-to-head. Now they're on USA Network. They got 2 hours. I thought going to last week, transitioning now to this Wednesday Night War, last week. And if you go catch up podcast so you could hear what me and Boss Man said about NXT and AEW in their first week going head-to-head. It was a special night, man. Special moment. It was history. First ever AEW, especially for AEW. NXT's been around, but AEW's first show. It was historic. I felt like a kid again watching Nitro and Raw going head-to-head. So it was a beautiful thing. Great time to be a wrestling fan. That's out of the door. That's out of the way now. We're now in week number 2. And actually, we're going into week number 3 now, as I'm recording this a little late. We're going on to week number 3. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait till what's going up, because I honestly thought that NXT had a better show the first week. AEW was fun. It was the first week of AEW, so it was historic, but I honestly thought the whole card for NXT was better, and they had 3 big championship matches. That world title match was Beast, Adam Cole, and the Bro Man, the original Bro. We had the tag team titles on the line, and we had the women's championship match. All good matches. 2 good returns, better than Jack Swagger, whatever the hell he's calling himself now in AEW. I know some of you might like him, whatever, but it wasn't a big deal to me. I was more excited seeing Finn Balor coming back to NXT and seeing Tommaso Ciampa return as well, and both of them gunning for the NXT championship. So that I thought was a big week. It was a big week, even though AEW beat them in the ratings. Let's transition now. Let me look at here, and we'll look at over the ratings for this week as well. As last week I went over it, and AEW did beat them. They pulled in, I believe it was 1.409 million on week 1 did AEW, and compared to NXT, which had 191,000 viewers, so it did beat them in week 1. And week number 2 now, AEW once again, and you know what, I'm going to read it off here. This is whatculture.com. It has the numbers here, and I just want to read this. AEW has once again trounced WWE NXT in the Wednesday night ratings war, though both shows were down on the previous week's numbers. So they trounced once again trounced. Hold on, I'll get to what I'm trying to say. Dynamite experienced a sharp decline from its debut episode. This show drew 1.018 million viewers on TNT and a further 122,000 on True TV simulcast. So that made for a total of 1.140 million across both platforms. And again, that was down from last week, which was 1.409 million. Of course, it was the debut week. And NXT again dropped from 891,000 to 790,000. And listen to this, quote unquote, continuing. Let's read it from the beginning. NXT, meanwhile, dropped from 891,000 to 790,000, continuing the brand's trend since debuting on USA Network. It's been a few weeks, guys. It's been a few weeks. It's been maybe 3 weeks since NXT's been on USA, or 4 weeks. I think they started a couple weeks before AEW. So let's say a month. Let's give it a month. And when they've gone head to head, it's been 2 weeks. We're going into week number 3. And we're talking about trends. We're talking about trends now. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, man. I know that we live in a society now where we want things now. We want things yesterday, not tomorrow. We don't want to wait. And we have, we want to create this war already. And come on, man. The Monday Night Wars were not called the Monday Night Wars from the beginning. First it was like, oh man, look, we got Nitro now on the first day, cool. And we're watching both shows and we're jumping back and forth. And some people pick WWE, some people pick WCW, but not until after was it then called the Monday Night Wars. I don't remember from the beginning. I could be wrong. I don't remember from the beginning us looking at it like that. We're just like, oh, we're wrestling fans and we got 2 shows to watch. But now it's like, boom, we want to already label this and the Wednesday Night War, NXT, AEW. And again, the trends and AEW everywhere. They're trouncing NXT and the headlines. AEW Dynamite beats NXT in the ratings war. Another ratings win, for AEW, even though they're both down or whatever. So, whatever. So it says either way, while the declines are disappointing, that's 2-0 to AEW in the so-called Wednesday Night Wars. So you guys let me know, man. Let me know in the comments and or on Twitter or whatever. Let me know what you think about this war. And about the ratings, man. I remember Bossman said, look, I'm not going to pay attention to the ratings. And we're reading it off because it is what it is, and they're reporting it. So we're going to report the ratings, and we'll go along every week and we'll report what the ratings were and see who wins, I guess. But it's just week 2, guys. Let's calm down. If you guys remember, WCW beat the WWE for a year and a half, something like that. I forgot how many weeks, 50-some weeks, 80-some weeks. And after that, WWE ended up putting WCW, or WCW put itself out of business or whatever, but they went out of business. WWE is still standing strong. So one of the things about the rating, they call it a Wednesday Night War. And I know AEW, a lot of guys in their Jericho code and that say that they're not in a war. They continue to say they're not in a war, but they continue to take shots at WWE. What I think is they don't want to be in a war with NXT. NXT, we love NXT. I love NXT, man. To me, right now, is my favorite brand. My favorite show is NXT right now, even over AEW. NXT is my favorite show, and it's been my favorite show for the last several years with what they've done and the takeovers that they have. NXT is my favorite. Okay? So let's get that straight. NXT is my favorite, and a lot of you guys love NXT as well. But let's be real. These guys are pulling in 800,000, 700,000 something in the ratings. AEW, even with their 1 million, the ratings, and we talk about, let's compare it then. Let's compare with and I want to do this because AEW, like I said, and I think Vince McMahon threw out NXT out there and put it on USA and put it there. Says, hey, you know what? This is what I think of you guys. You guys are minor leagues. You're not Raw. You're not SmackDown. You're not WWE. You're not going to compete with us. But let's see. Let's see if you can compete with NXT. We're going to throw NXT out there. This is what we think about you. We're throwing out our minor league system because that's what it is. We might like it. We think, it's a separate brand, this and that. NXT has been built as a niche. NXT has been built as an alternative to the main roster. And more importantly, a minor league, because what do they say all the time? This guy gets called up. Someone's called up, even though we know and we joke about it, and podcasters joke about it. It's not a call up, it's a demotion. And to guys like Bobby Roode, to guys like that, to a lot the Ascension, the Revival, all these guys, it is a kind of a demotion creatively, even though you're probably making more money. So we could talk about what somebody wants more. Do you want more money? Do you want to wrestle in bigger arenas? Do you want the recognition, or do you want the creativity and the better matches and that feel you get from NXT? So again, that depends on what you like as a competitor, what your goal is in life, I guess. But anyway, NXT, let's get it clear. We love it. But NXT is presented, and it is the minor leagues of WWE, of Raw, of SmackDown. Okay, so they want them to compete. So if you're AEW, of course you don't want to say you're competing against NXT. You don't want to compete against that. You want to be, right now you're realistic. It might take a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it takes. But you want to compete And I don't care what they say. They want to compete with WWE. They want to say that they are the best wrestling promotion in the United States, if not in the world. Because if they're not doing it for that reason, then I don't know why they're wrestling. Just like everybody says, hey, if you're not competing in wrestling to become a world champion, then what the hell are you doing? You want to be the best. You want to win the Super Bowl. You want to win the NBA Finals. Stanley Cup Finals. That's what you want to do. You want to win the World Series. You don't just want to play and be second best. And AEW doesn't. So they're not. Are they competing directly against NXT? They are now. They have no choice. NXT is on Wednesday night, and now they're on USA and they're live. So, but AEW. Hold on, let me get a little sip of water here, man. I gotta get hydrated. Gotta stay hydrated, kids. So AEW wants to compete against Raw, against SmackDown. So let's look at the ratings. They're saying, hey, these guys are pulling in great ratings first couple of weeks, let's go over it again. 1.409 million the week one. Not an impressive. They put here an impressive 1.49. Yeah, because they're a new product. Raw has been on the air forever. And I know that the ratings have declined on Raw. They keep declining. House shows keep declining. So a lot of people are saying that, hey, WWE is in trouble. Even though business-wise, they are doing pretty well. They're making money. But the ratings do decline, man. The creativity on Raw and SmackDown is not like it used to be. The show's not as quality as it used to be. But anyway, if we look at the ratings, then we're looking here. Yeah, Hell in a Cell Backlash could have hurt or helped the ratings. Either people, and I'm reading this is off of PW Torch. And it's an article here saying Raw received no bump from the surge in viewership last week's Friday Night SmackDown experience. Let me fast forward. Okay, so the first hour drew 2.443 million viewers. It dropped from there to 2.330 million viewers and 2.230 million viewers over the next 2 hours. That's a first to third hour drop off of 213,000. So let's take the lowest here, man. They dropped to 2.2. 2.2, do the math. 2.2 is still better than AEW's 1.4, right? It's 1.4 million to 2.2 million. And that's Raw having a bad week or having a bad day when Raw has a season premiere or when Raw's doing a little better or when Raw was doing a couple of years ago doing better, they were getting a little better ratings. Even though, again, the ratings are down. It says 1 year ago this week, Raw drew a 1.97 rating. 2 years ago this week, it drew 1.93. So there you go. Let me check. Okay, it doesn't say the points on here. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is AEW to compete with Raw, they're going to have to be, when AEW starts, we're going to have a real war. And these are just my opinions now, man. It come off the top of my head here a little bit. My opinion is AEW is going to really start competing, and we're going to start seeing a real war between AEW and WWE, not AEW and NXT. That's what McMahon wants. McMahon is fine with this. Hey, compete with this, man. Beat NXT. Or you know what? If NXT starts beating you, he's going to laugh his ass off. Our minor league system is beating you guys. Like, you're supposed to beat NXT. This is not AEW's minor league. AEW doesn't have the little minor league, and they're competing with NXT. No, AEW is the big dog in their world, So you're supposed to be beating NXT, even though you're a new show. Because NXT is the first. NXT is pretty new too on USA. A lot of people didn't. I've talked to wrestling fans who watch Raw, SmackDown all the time at work. I know some young kids, they watch Raw and SmackDown. They love it. Oh, I love the pay-per-view. They didn't know what the hell. They knew what NXT was, but they didn't watch it. And I told them, hey, man, check it out. Check out this takeover. Check out that one. They come back and, oh, wow. Some good stuff. Some good stuff, man. And then they start watching it. So now maybe on USA, more people will start watching it, and NXT will grow even more. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I'll still love NXT. I still think, like I said, to me is the best show. Even though I'll get into a little bit more here when I go into the review of each show, and I'm going to do that kind of quick. But I go into the review of each show. Both, I think AEW had the better week, even though I thought NXT, and screw the ratings, NXT had the better show the first week. I think week 2, AEW had the better show. It was more fun. Matches were better. So even though NXT had some one beast of a hell of a main event and a good cruiserweight championship match. But anyway, man, going back to what I was saying before I rudely interrupted myself and got sidetracked, we're going to see a real Wednesday night war when AEW is competing against WWE. Not just NXT, but WWE. When you see Raw, getting those 2.4, 2.2, or they go lower than that and they start going to 2.1 or 1.9 something ratings. I mean, million viewers, 2.3 million viewers, 1.9 million viewers, and you see AEW start climbing up, and AEW is pulling 2.1, 1.9, 2.3, 2.4, even 2.5. They start going up. That's when you're going to start seeing. That's when we're going to have a war. I don't care if it's not on the same night, but that's when people will be talking. That's when I want to talk. That's when I will say, oh man, you know what? WWE's going to have to step it up. And that's when WWE might start changing. That's when they might saying, man, we gotta step up our game. We gotta get better creatively. We gotta give better matches, better feuds, better stories. What formula do we use? Do we use some of that NXT formula and bring it to the main roster and make it work? But then I'm scared now that they're gonna get beat in the war. So McMahon's gonna say, well, look, NXT can't beat AEW, so obviously we're not gonna use that formula. Well, you know what? Your formula's not working either, Vince. Your formula's not working either now. Your ratings keep going lower. Attendance at house shows are getting lower. Attendance at pay-per-view, everything's getting lower. You have a crowd chanting AEW, this is boring, restart the match in the main event of one of your big pay-per-views, Hell in a Cell. And please stop these gimmick pay-per-views. This is sidetracked, but stop these gimmick pay-per-views. We do not need TLC. We do not need Hell in a Cell. We do not, and I'm not the only one saying this. I'm not a genius. Well, I am. I kind of am, but I'm not the only one saying this. This is not new. A lot of us want, just end these gimmick pay-per-views, man. Use a Hell in a Cell when you need it, when it's appropriate. Use a TLC match when it's needed, when it's appropriate, when it's accordingly use it. Don't have these shows, man. You have other shows. Use Starrcade in December. You own these WCW, right? Pay-per-view, man. Use Halloween Havoc. Use the Great American Bash. Bring back the goddamn King of the Ring as a pay-per-view. A lot of things, man. Bring War Games. I know you got War Games in NXT. Bring it to the main roster. They'll probably fuck it up, but anyway, man. So that's what I think about that, man. Then the total, I guess, the overview of the Wednesday Night War, and that's why I put it in quotes. It's not a war yet, man. Now, if NXT starts pulling more viewers and they start competing, then we're gonna have a little war here. And again, McMahon's gonna love it. He's gonna laugh his ass off. He wants NXT to compete against AEW. I don't think he thinks they might not beat him in the rating, but if they could compete against them, that's going to make AEW look weak because they're competing against our minor league system. They're not competing against Raw. They're not competing against SmackDown. We're still pulling in better ratings. And, of course, they've been around for a long time, so it's going to take a while. But, again, that's when I think we'll see the real war when we get to that. When we get to where AEW is competing against Raw and SmackDown in the ratings. Even though they're on Wednesday night. And who knows, maybe they'll move in the future and they'll compete head-to-head, maybe not. But even though it's on Wednesday night, when you're beating Monday night, when you're beating Friday night, that's a war, man. That'll be a war. Then that'll be a war. And I'm interested to see that. So, anyway, let's take a look here. And I'm going to start, I guess, since I thought AEW was the better show. Let's save that for last. And I'm going to go into NXT because I just saw NXT, actually. I DVR these. I work Wednesday nights. I was able to get off early and see the first week and do a little barbecue and stuff, and make it a big deal, like it was a big day in wrestling. But I usually work until about 9:30 on Wednesdays. Sometimes I might be able to get off early, but I usually work 9:30 Wednesdays. So I come back, man, and I DVR'd. I either watched some of it that night. I did watch AEW. I heard it was a good show, and so I wanted to check out AEW. I checked that out first, and then I just finished watching NXT actually earlier today. I just saw NXT, so got a lot of stuff to do, man. I work full time. I got this WWE 2K19 universe, best damn universe mode going on, which takes a lot of my time. Got my kids. I got 3 kids. Got my wife. So I got a lot of stuff to do. No excuses, but there's just so much wrestling you could watch or time for it, and I like to sit down, and take my time and watch it without interruptions and really get into the show, so get the feel of it. And that's what I did, man. AEW. So I saw AEW first, and I saw NXT. So since I just saw NXT, let's go over that. Week number 2, like I said, I think that AEW had the better show. NXT kicked off with a fun cruiserweight title match. And actually, I took some notes for these shows, man. I'm proud of myself. The other weeks I've been just winging it. I've taken some notes here. So, yeah, we kicked it off here. They kicked it off, NXT, with a fun cruiserweight title match. And we saw what happened, man. Lio Rush is the new WCW. I'm back in the day, man. I'm back. Stuck in the day, man. Grandpa George here. Grandpa J-Dogg. Stuck back in my day. WCW had them good cruiserweights. Oh, they kicked off every damn show. Why doesn't Vince use that formula? Whatever. Anyway, a new WWE Cruiserweight champion crowned in Lio Rush. And I really think, man, I know 205 Live is his own thing, man, but I would love to just see the Cruiserweights permanently as a part of NXT. Make that belt there. I know we got the North American Championship now, but I would love to see that, man. Especially now you got 2 hours. Make it part of that. Make it part of that. Or if you're gonna keep 205, like have the Cruiserweights more often on NXT. I like that. I really do. That's an excitement, man. Because seen this match, and I put the note here. I remember saying, there's a counter to every counter. I remember that saying. I don't know who said it. A lot of people said it, but remember with that in wrestling, it's like, there's always a counter to a counter in wrestling. And especially in this new school style, and especially with the cruiserweights, I think they capture this essence really well. The matches just flow well, man. They go from one move to another, one spot to another. And the key to this, like I've said in previous podcasts, making these spots count. Doing the moves, doing the flowing, doing that like what Adam Cole did, what Gargano does with Ciampa and his matches with, make these spots mean something. Have that in-ring psychology, have that crowd psychology to get them into it. And NXT does a great job of that, man. A lot of the guys in NXT do a great job of that. I'm sure Triple H has a lot to do with that. He's a student of the game. Of course, you got William Regal there in the back as well, and others helping out, and all those guys are students of the game. And it's just great to see it, man. I wish we had more of that in WWE, but anyway, in the main roster. But anyway, so that, yeah, man, the matches flow great together, and I love the contrast of styles here. Lio Rush and Drew Gulak. And Gulak, of course, the bigger man. Lio Rush, a smaller dude. The smaller man, quicker, more agile, versus the bigger man, the more powerful. And unlike the past, man, because the past, the big men couldn't move too well. Now, big men move very well. Not just this match, but in general. Like Brock Lesnar, man, he can move around. He always has his best matches against smaller men. So Roman Reigns is a pretty big dude. He can move around, though, very athletic, and he has some of his best matches against smaller guys. Some of his matches against AJ Styles have been some of the best. So I like that, man. I like that contrast of style. And this match had it here, man. That final hour frog splash from the top was just beast, man. How he landed, how Lio Rush landed, and that momentum just took him over and he flipped. So freaking cool, man. And that's a part of the little attention to details that just makes something look awesome, man. It's that little attention to detail. The little things do matter. NXT does that great. It's exciting to see Lio Rush as champion here, man. And then after the match, we see the handshake, and Gulak gives him the belt, gives him the handshake, man, and the people just go wild. They clap, they cheer. But they say, and there's they again, but people just want to cheer for the heels and be contrarians. That's why we can't. That's why WWE doesn't book anything. There's no more heels and baby faces. No. I think you're wrong. When booked right, people still like to cheer the good guys, and they like a feel-good moment, and they want to boo the bad guys. And sure, there's a lot of gray area, and there are some bad guys that are really cool, and then they just start getting cheered. Yes. But again, if done right, they will be booed when in there with a bad guy will be booed in there with the right good guy and booked in a good story or match. I always point back to what NXT did with Gargano and Ciampa. Ciampa eventually got cheered a little bit, but man, the people respected him, loved him in the ring, but they knew he was the bad guy for what he did to Johnny, and they wanted him to get his, man, and they would boo him out of the goddamn building, and they would cheer Gargano on. Like I say, man, when it's done right, it's done right. Now, there's the cool bad guys like Adam Cole, the Undisputed Era. They love being cheered. But even then, if they're in there with the right good guy, I think Adam Cole, if not booed, it's going to be 50-50. And it was kind of like that with Bro. And I think if he fights like the Dream is really over. And if they do that right and they jump him a lot of times or they hold him down or something like that, and he keeps fighting back up and then he fights for that world title, I think they might cheer him a lot more than Adam Cole. I could be wrong. I'm just putting an example at the top of my head, but I remember back in my day, Grandpa J-Dogg remembers when Hulk Hogan and the NWO were getting cheered by everyone, man. They were getting cheered. They were the bad guys, but we loved the bad guys. We loved Hogan because they were cool. Yeah, and it happens. Cool bad guys, NWO, we love it. But again, when done right, Everybody wanted to see Goldberg beat him that night on Nitro. Everybody wanted to see that, man. There were, even me, I wasn't the biggest Goldberg fan. I liked Hogan better than Goldberg, but I was in the moment. I wanted to see Goldberg get it done, man. Same thing with Sting. I wasn't a big Sting fan, but what they did with Sting, they told that story right. We could talk about the ending of that match and how WCW kind of botched that and screwed that up. But at the end of the day, still, he was raised as a hero. People were cheering it because he finally beat Hogan. I think a whole year and a half, he was up in the rafters doing that. I mean, it was a good story when told right. We still like to cheer the good guys and boo the bad guys and have that. Yes, there's a lot of gray area, but it still works. It works in the world of professional wrestling, man. And I'll get that to what Chris Jericho and what he did on his promo and how he's a tremendous heel. He's one of the guys that could pull it off. So when you got the right guys in there, right storylines, and you book them right, we're still like that, man. And we were... I said with those examples, we were invested in those stories and match outcomes. So wins and losses do matter. We wanted to see Sting beat Hogan. We wanted to see Goldberg stay undefeated and beat Hogan. So this is the thing. I was just getting to that because at the end of that match, just Gulak coming in, giving him the belt, and people cheering. If you like to just cheer the bad guy, you're not going to cheer that nonsense. You're going to be, stop shaking hands. We want to see you guys just beat the hell out of each other. No, they were shaking a good deed. They were shaking a sportsmanship. They like it. They clap. Yeah, we like that sportsmanship, Even though you like to cheer for cool bad guys like Undisputed Era, but you like that, man. You like a good moment like that. So don't give me that crap that good guys and bad guys don't work anymore, heels and faces. Don't give me that. Anyway, let's move forward here. Next was Rhea Ripley, I believe, and Rhea Ripley. I don't know, but who the hell did she fight? Oh, well, anyway, I just saw that submission move there. I've just put that note. That submission move that she did, just that hanging reverse sharpshooter. It was a quick match, so I don't even remember who the hell it was. That submission move, man, hanging reverse sharpshooter type of move, and then she's swinging her around, and then she just throws on the ground and just gets her to tap out. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. And Shayna Baszler versus Ripley is going to be good. Ripley's still young. She's still young. I still see a little bit of green in her, even though she feels very comfortable in her own skin, it looks like. But when she breaks out a little more and she gets better in the ring, Ripley might be good, man. She might be a one of the top women, man. She has the look, she has the size, she has the skill, and she's still young, man. She's only going to get better. Interesting to see how she evolves and grows. And I'm looking forward to Shayna versus Ripley. Will she be the one that finally dethrones Shayna Baszler? We'll find out, man. But that was a quick squash match just to make her look good. And again, NXT has them, man. And you need that sometimes. You need guys to come out and just put other guys over, gals to come out and put other women over, Not everybody could be the top guy. Everybody wants to see great matches on Raw and SmackDown. That's not what we need. We need good storytelling. We need superstars getting put over every week, not just losing one week. They have that 50-50 booking. We need less of that. So this was good. This was fine. I was happy with that. And then Breezango came back, man. I like them back in NXT. They're funny. They're, and one thing I wrote here in my notes, and I remember that, man, Beth Phoenix just going off and saying that they're giving her advice and that they're good plumbers. And they were giving her advice on how to, quote unquote, clean her pipes. She said that. That was just fantastic, man. I laughed my ass off. And Beth Phoenix, I got to give her credit, man. For Renee Young, the crappy job that Renee Young did on Raw, even though she's a great backstage announcer, a good analyst, but as a commentator, I was not digging Renee Young. But Beth Phoenix, I'm starting to dig her in NXT, man. Beth Phoenix knows what she's doing. These are funny lines. And then when she said later on in the night, I think it was with Swerve, I forgot who it was. It was like, oh, he looked up to Rey Mysterio or something like that, and then she started again. And one of her favorite, or one of his favorites, something was Edge. And they're like, oh, you're trying to get back on the good graces with Edge because of everything she was saying before about Breezango. So that was pretty good, man. I like that back and forth and that humor that Beth Phoenix was bringing, man. Fresher breath there. Just because you're a woman, you don't have to go out there. No, I'm trying to prove yourself, and I'm a woman. I belong here. I have to prove. Just lay back, have some fun. And Beth Phoenix looks like she's doing that. So I'm interested to see how she does as she breaks out more in her show. This is kind of new for her. She hasn't been commentating that long. So, but I really enjoyed her this episode. She had some good lines in there. I really enjoyed her, and she was great in the ring. She had a good career in the ring. So she brings that element in the ring where Renee Young doesn't. So that also gives her a nod in that way. So you can be funny and you can bring that seriousness. I like that, man. I like that. I was impressed with Beth Phoenix. I'm okay with her there. So, Anyway, man, I like the win by the Forgotten Sons beat Breezango, and I like how they got themselves in this match. I just jumped the other jabronis before the match who were supposed to take on Breezango. Good stuff, man. Decent match. And I saw these guys live, man. I went to NXT. If I told you guys, I think I put some pictures on Twitter. But I went to NXT live on Friday with the family. We had a good time. It wasn't as good as 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we saw Gargano, we saw The Dream, we saw Aleister Black, we saw Ciampa, we saw Adam Cole. This year there wasn't, man. There was no Adam Cole. Our main event was Undisputed Era versus the Forgotten Sons in a 6-man tag team battle, and that was a great match, man. I did not know how good the Forgotten Sons were. I haven't seen a lot of them, and just seeing him live, man, they're big, especially the big dude. I forgot their names now. But the big, I know Blake is there, I believe. But is it Blake? I don't know, man. It's getting late, man. It's like almost 2 a.m. here, and I'm recording this shit, so I can't even think straight. But anyway, the Forgotten Sons. I'll have better notes. See, I'm getting better. I got notes now, but I'm gonna get better as this goes on. Remember, this is only our 6th. This is actually our 2nd unofficial Wednesday Night War podcast. Remember, it's unofficial. And anyway, man, they put on a great 6-man tag team match against Undisputed Era. And these guys are big. They can move around. They work well together. They're great tag team, man. Good tag team. And I was very impressed by them. So they got the win here over Breezango. Let's see if there's a title shot in their future. I think that's what they're heading to. After that, we saw Cameron Grimes. He came in another squash match, man. I don't know what I think of this guy's gimmick. It was a quick ending, kind of just setting up Killian Dane coming out and destroying this jobber that Cameron Grimes beat in like 2 seconds. So I like Killian, man. I think Killian Dane has potential. Let's see what they can do with him. He's a big man who can move around, like I said, like the other guys. So it'd be interesting, man. I want to see him in there against some smaller guys that contrast the styles and get him in there with somebody, smaller. And then they show footage of Damian Priest and Pete Dunne. These two guys actually had a pretty decent match at the NXT live show that I went to, man. Priest and Dunne, and actually, and Pete Dunne got the victory at the end. Broke his, split apart his fingers like he does. Gave him his bitter end, I believe it's called, and he pinned him. They pinned Priest. So they show the video here, footage, him attacking him, and what are my thoughts on Damian, man? What are my thoughts on Damian Priest? He has the look. I think I wrote it here, man. Maybe he's all fluff and no stuff. Whatever the hell that means. Hey, back in my day, that meant something. I don't know what you kids use today, but Grandpa J-Dogg, and throwing his silly lines there. Anyway, man, so I think he is, man. He has the look, but I don't see nothing special in the ring, and I don't know if that look itself is just going to get him over. He might be temporarily over. I didn't see the crowd wasn't too much into him. The crowd was way into Pete Dunne, and the crowd was a lot more into Swerve, man, and I'll get into that after this. But anyway, it was a good match at the NXT live show. But again, Dunne can make anybody look good. Priest had some good hard-hitting strikes at times. They looked beast. And Dunne, again, sold the hell out of it. So maybe it's done. And we'll see. We'll see in the future, man. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Priest, because, we need as many good guys as we can. But if Priest just has a career as a mid-carder or a mid-card jobber, I'll be fine with that for now. I'll be fine with that. I'm cool with that. Anyway, next up was Swerve versus Strong. And I was impressed with Swerve at NXT live event, man. I was impressed with Swerve. That man, my son's calling me. He was like, oh, he looks like Kofi. And they're like, yeah, he's a new and improved Kofi. And I'm like, maybe he is. Maybe he is, man. Or maybe he's a younger version of Kofi. Now, I know Kofi could move around even better when he was younger. But I don't know, man. Swerve has it, man. He's got that charisma. He has that charisma. He has in-ring skills. And he put on a hell of a match. Him and Shane Thorne stole the show, I believe, in that NXT live event. The 6-man tag at the end, the main event was great with Undisputed Era, but Shane Thorne and Swerve had, I think, the best match up that night in the NXT live event. The crowd was hot. They loved Swerve, and Shane Thorne is a great competitor in there too. I believe Swerve lost that match, but he stayed after the match, and they're giving him a standing ovation and stuff. So Swerve is great, man. I'm interested to see what his future holds. I would like to see that, like a contrast of styles, because that someone like Swerve against Killian Dane. That'd be interesting to me. Anyway, man, he's crisp, he's sharp in that ring, and this was a beautiful match between Strong and Swerve. It was just, it was what NXT's about, man. And even though I said AEW had the better show overall, this match, along with the Cruiserweight and then our main event here in NXT, was really good stuff. So anyway, kudos to Strong, man, for selling and making it legit look like Swerve was going to get the upset win at several occasions. But hey, I love me some Undisputed Era, man. So scared of these guys going to the main roster and disappearing. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Kudos to Strong again and to Swerve, man. Great match here. And that's setting up again Strong, a rematch in a couple of weeks against The Dream when The Dream came out and just did his whole skit of saying he's not going to measure up. That was fantastic. And just the way that they sell it, man. I like how Undisputed Era sales, like he got all pissed off. And that's another little detail. Sometimes you see someone trying to get the better of someone else or telling him off, trying to get over on that promo, and the other guy's just kind of rolling his eyes or laughing. No, man, you gotta, if they tell you something, do that Booker T, what? Tell me you didn't just say that, kind of, and Strong was losing his mind when he saw that picture instead of just blowing it off, do that. You got to do that as a heel, just, and put the guy over. So that was good. I like those details. Anyway, after that, then, I have here, our main event, man, Kushida versus Walter. I had never seen Kushida. Never seen him. Like I said, I don't have time to watch so much wrestling, man. I try to watch almost every NXT, now AEW. I watch some Raw, some SmackDown, catch every TakeOver pay-per-views. I catch some Ring of Honor time to time. I catch some New Japan, even though now with all the guys that I liked over there kind of being over here in AEW, I don't watch too much of New Japan, but they still got some good talent over there with Okada and those guys. Anyway, I loved Kushida entrance, man. That attire. Back to the Future, Marty McFly, man. Unbelievable. Anyway, then Walter, man, the current United Kingdom champion here in NXT. And when I first saw Walter back, not now, I've seen him before wrestle, but when I saw first, I was like, who is this flabby generic dude? Like, who is this guy, man? Why is he in there with Pete Dunne when they fought at TakeOver? Why is he in there? But he's growing on me, man. And after he beat Pete Dunne for the UK title in that awesome match, I mean, this guy's a great grappler, great in-ring grappler. Now he has a stable, and he's developing his character, his persona. So he's growing on me, man. I kind of like Walter, man. Doing good stuff. Sorry, a little sip of water here. And he's this match was great. This was a great main event. Great main event. Walter started by taunting Kushida. And then Kushida taunts him back. He then starts using his speed. Again, I love these matches, man. The contrast of style. So he uses his speed. Love how they turned a botch. Kushida went off the top rope. And I think he kind of fell or staggered in there. He didn't get all the way to Walter. Kind of went over then. So I think it was a botch. I don't know if it wasn't, then it was greatly planned. It looked great. But it was a botch, and then it turned into a huge boot by Walter, and then he starts grounding him and using his power. A nice reversal then from the powerbomb into a DDT by Kushida, man, right in the middle of the ring. Turns it around, and he then turns the match around, then starts flying and using his speed again to get over on Walter. Then we fast forward, man, the attempt at that sunset flip powerbomb to the floor that gets blocked by Walter, followed up by a nasty boot right to the face of Kushida into the apron. And finally, then Kushida gives him a DDT to the floor from the apron. So this is all going on in the apron and outside, man. The crowd then starts chanting NXT, NXT. They work the count beautifully as they get into the ring right before the 10. That's that good ring psychology, man. Good presence. And the crowd chanting, man. The crowd is hot now. They get back. Then they go into this back and forth submissions and pin attempts. Great stuff. One pin into a submission into another pin. Good stuff here, man. Then a huge top rope armbar. That was a great spot. Top rope armbar toss, and he keeps the lock on when he lands Kushida. You think, Walter's going to maybe tap out here. I actually thought, oh my God, is he really going to fucking tap out here, the UK champion? I knew he wasn't. I kind of expected, but that's when a match is good. That's when a match is good and it's selling you, because that Walter's going to win. He's a UK champion. They're trying to put him over, but you have that little disbelief, like, wait, is he really going to get him? Is he really going to make him tap? So that was good, man. Kushida then kicks out of a big time powerbomb after Walter gets up from this move. This is awesome chant start as he kicks out. And then finally, right after that, a big time lariat that turns Kushida inside out and finishes him off. So Walter gets a big win over Kushida here. But Kushida proves how good he is, man. Love it. Both guys over in this match. And great time, big main event, man. And just in my notes here towards the end of the show, some of my thoughts as I was watching, I just said, why can't we have main events like this on Raw or SmackDown? Now, what do I mean? We've had some big time matches, title matches, but it doesn't always need to be this big title match or a tag or a 6-man tag to advance a storyline. We could just have guys compete like this, make it where, they get maybe attacked the week before or something and then throw a match together, man. Have guys like Andrade Cien Almas come out and have a good 25-minute classic to end Raw or to end SmackDown. You don't have these guys, Daniel Bryan, the Andrades, the Seth Rollins, Aleister Black. Let them go out there 25 minutes and put on a classic. Just put on a classic, like I'm not saying these guys, Walter versus Kushida was a classic per se, but it was a great match, a good match for a main event, man. You don't need to have, again, a Brock Lesnar, or well, Brock Lesnar's never on there, but you don't need to have Rollins in every damn it, the Universal Champion every main event, or a big 6-man to do the, don't have to have these big matches, but have some good matches. And they need to do this on a consistent basis. That's the thing, man. You got to focus on wrestling, but do it on a consistent basis. Maybe the first week, 2 weeks of Raw, you do that. The crowds, they start getting into, this was good action. And then when you get used to it, it's consistency, man. With everything in life, it's consistency. And if they have that you condition your fan base to expect that and then get into it. Get invested in good competition like they do in NXT. And now they appreciate a match like this. Can you imagine putting Kushida, maybe I'm butchering his name, Kushida and Walter, imagine putting them in the main event of Raw and stuff, and with these crowds, they'd be dead. The crowd would be dead, whatever, they'd be dead sitting on their ass like they do on Raw a lot of weeks. But if you condition them like you do with NXT, hey, we're getting good wrestling every week. We're getting good wrestling every week. We're getting good, okay. The crowd starts conditioning something, the crowd starts enjoying it, the crowd starts appreciating it and expecting those good matches there. So just a little thing, man. Keep it simple, guys. Keep it simple, NXT. Instead of overthinking matches and storylines and trying to elaborate, make all these things, or have The Fiend attack Seth Rollins every goddamn week at the end of the show, or Braun Strowman attack somebody, or this and that. Just have a good match, man. Have these good matches, Tell the stories and do what you got to do. I'm not saying not to, but have these good matches at the end of these shows, these good main events, Make the main event mean something. Anyway, I've been blabbing for a long time, man. Let's go to the second episode here of AEW, and then we'll call it a night. I think I said a lot of what I needed to say. And I have notes here. I didn't take match by match, but let's go here. Have it. Here we go. Where do I have it written down? There we go. So this show kicks off, man. Great tag team match, and this is just awesome. I love how they're doing the tag team tournament, man. The great match. Young Bucks, to me, are the best team in the world. I once thought, they were the spot monkeys, this and that. I was thinking, but you know what? No, man. Their high spots are just as good as their in-ring psychology and storytelling and getting the crowd involved is just as good as their high spots. It's awesome. And that's why they're one of the best tag teams in the world, man. They get it. They have the crowd in the palm of their hands during their match. So the Young Bucks were awesome, man. The Young Bucks in this match dominated most of this match, but they ended up losing. Love it, man. Love it. And let me go to this first. I love how they kept saying during the match that they were the top seeds in the tournament. It makes the tournament feels more legit, that sports feeling with seeding. When they say, the Patriots are the number one seed, and in basketball, these guys got the number one seed. They get home field advantage, and that it feels good to have those seedings to make it mean, tournament means more. It seems more legit. And that, again, that attention to detail, that thing of giving seeds, it's a small thing, and WWE be like, it's no big deal. That attention to detail, you make it consistent, that builds a great show. And also, the tag teams at ringside. The tag teams were at ringside. It was great, man. The other tag team scouting out their competition was great. Kudos to the Bucks, man, for putting over Private Party. Private Party looked great. They impressed me. I haven't seen a lot of them. I saw some of their House of Glory videos, and they seem like a pretty legit team. And their gimmick is over. It's a little bit like the Street Profits, but not really. And I'm not saying that just because they're black. Get the fuck out of here. But anyway, the Private Party, man, they like to go out there. They like to have fun, and they impressed me. Good match, great way to start AEW and capture that sports feel that they want to capture. Of course, they do it with the whole wins-losses thing as well. Might talk about that a little bit more later, but that wins-losses and now the seeding makes it seem legit while still having that sports entertainment feel, if you will, with the storylines, with the promos. Fantastic. I'm loving that aspect of AEW, and I hope they keep that up. And I hope then WWE, when they really get in a war with them and AEW's ratings continues to go up, that WWE changes as well and follows this AEW formula, because I really like it. I really enjoy it, man. The details, great. After this, we see great Jericho promo. Let's see, was there a match after this? Nope, it was AEW. Yeah, it was So this was the end. The Bucks attempted this is from AllEliteWrestling.com actually. The Bucks attempted a Meltzer driver and in an upset of the ages and career-defining performance, Private Party had the Bucks' famous finishing move scouted and defeated Jackson's via a pinfall. So there you go. That was great, man. After that, yeah, Chris Jericho comes out. Great promo. It's a great promo. Some people called it, I saw online, oh, this is the greatest promo he had of all time. I was saying, nah, man, he's had all these. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, wait a minute, WWE, he might have had some great moments. And, you know, he might have had some great moments. Give me 1 second. I have to get something here. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to cut off for a little bit, but I'm back. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, Chris Jericho, man, great promo. I've seen him in WWE have great moments and great lines and The List and just way before, I mean, when he was Jericho and you know, just a bunch of stuff that I don't remember right now, but Jericho always had these good lines, but I don't remember a classic promo. But this promo from beginning to end was fantastic, taking a shot at WWE creative, putting himself over, even putting his opponents over, and then but then shitting on him as well, and then saying he's gonna kick their ass, and putting his whole group over, man, now called the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle, man, made up of LAX and Guevara, I believe I'm saying, and Hager, whatever his name now is, Jack Swagger. So there you go, man. After that, we had Jimmy Havoc going up again, and of course, Cody Rhodes, and when he said that about Cody and Cody's family, that was fantastic, man. So he shitted against on Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes. He threw out Viva la Raza. He called Sammy that looks like a Spanish god. Santana and Ortiz are psychos. I mean, this was fantastic, man. It was a great promos. I'm reading these things about him. It was just it was great, man. He put up Jake Hager as he's undefeated, and that's a shoot, he said. So it was fantastic. Anyway, the Inner Circle, we are the Inner Circle, you're welcome. That's how he finished off. Put up his match November 9th at Full Gear. Then he's going to beat the living shit out of Cody. So fantastic promo, man. From there on, we go to Jimmy Havoc against Darby Allin. And these two guys were that's following that's right following the interview now. Now you get into this number one contender match again. Some people had a problem, man. Why is Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc going for why isn't it someone like Pac or that? Look, they already had these big matches, Omega. Now they have Cody. You got to build some other guys up, and these guys have had some victories. Darby Allin's getting over with the crowd, and actually they addressed it. What I like is that they addressed it later on. As Neville, Pac or Pac, whatever his name is now. He came out there and he started saying, man, why isn't it me? You know, why am I not out there? So he did. A win-loss record came up, and he's saying, hey, it should be me as number one contender. So great. They're building up to that, but you need to have that build-up as well. You don't just want to, boom, bust it into. So I'm fine with that. And it was a decent match between Havoc and Aldis. Maybe to me it was decent. Some other people who are invested in them might have thought it was a better match. I'm still not too emotionally invested in a lot of guys in AEW. But I'll get there. I think I'm getting there. And as more shows I watch, I'll get there. And I might enjoy it a little more. So, but it was a decent match. Aldis gets the victory. Aldis, Jericho next week. Moxley versus Spears. Wait, I think there was a good... there was a tag team match after this. Priestley and Emi Sakura versus AEW Women's Champion Rio and Dr. Britt Baker. And I like how they're not... I think Britt Baker's in line. She's going to be not the next, but maybe, future world champions. Well, they're going to build her up, but they're making her team up. I like what they're doing, man. They're taking their time with a lot of these storylines. So, anyway, a good tag team match there. And again, they're not jumping Baker as a contender yet. They're going to continue to build this up. So that's what I got mostly from that match. Moxley, let me see, Chuck Taylor and Trent, best friends, were interviewed at ringside and asked for their thoughts on the tag team tournament and their upcoming match. They turned around, pointed to Orange Cassidy and said, ask this guy. In a vote of confidence, Cassidy gave his casually cool, freshly squeezed thumbs up. Cassidy's fun, man. I like Cassidy. Anyway, then we get Tully Blanchard accompanying the chairman, Sean Spears, down to the ring. And this is when Pac joins the broadcast. And the team, as I say, and it's so great how he addressed the elephant in the room. Why am I not getting that championship match? So anyway, Moxley versus Spears, decent match. I thought again, man. I'm trying to get into Moxley, man, and I think him and Omega might tear it down, especially if has to be no holds barred. But it was a good match, some good spots in there. Moxley gets the victory. And then it was great after though, man. After the good interaction between Moxley and Omega, the fans were excited. This is awesome. Both guys didn't even touch each other. They didn't even touch each other. And they felt that. And Pac comes up, attacks then Omega from behind as he's pissed off for no reason. He just attacks him. And Moxley, instead of doing the heel job and just attack, he's like, no, man, Pac, what the hell are you doing kind of thing. And he doesn't go after Omega. He wants him man to man. That was great. I thought, again, attention to detail was fantastic. Now let's get forward here, man. Main event. The main event was the natural Dustin Rhodes and Hangman Adam Page against the best ever, quote unquote, Sammy Guevara and AEW World Champion Chris Jericho. And they were accompanied by Hager here, whatever. Good tag match, man. Dustin, what I got of this in my notes, Dustin looks great. He looks great, man. And then after the match, anyway, well, he won. Hager came in, interfered. Jericho got the victory, the Judas effect. He hits Rhodes with it, blasted Rhodes with the Judas effect, and gets the victory. The beating continued after, and we get a clusterfuck after. And no, it's not. Some people are like, oh, and I did it too. Oh my God, the first week, it was like the NWO again. They're just beating all the good guys up. This one made sense. The lights go out. Cody comes out. Crowd is cheering it on. Cody's getting into. Then, after that, man, that big MJF tease, though, that was fantastic. It teased. We could see it coming. We know that it's coming. He's going to turn on Cody eventually. And I wanted it. I actually marked out, oh, yes, hit him. I wanted to see him hit him. And I love that good heel thing. I wanted him to hit him. He didn't. He saved Cody. The crowd is going crazy. He's soaking it in. The Young Bucks come out. All chaos is breaking loose. But it all makes sense. Then Aldis comes out on a skateboard, jumps on Chris Jericho, beats his ass. Jericho comes out, though. Jericho says, I'm going to kick the hell out of you guys. I'm going to beat the shit out of you guys, whatever he says. It was a good ending, man. I like it, man. It was an exciting show. I'm going to cut this a little short, a few minutes. Exciting show. Better. And I know I probably talked more about NXT because I took more notes on it, but AEW, trust me, AEW was a more fun show. I am still more invested in NXT. So that's why maybe I'm like that. My bias is towards NXT, but man, AEW, I'll give it to them. AEW had a better show this second week. Exciting show, better than last week. And I'm not emotionally invested in guys like Aldis and Havoc and that, but as weeks go by, I'm gonna like them, and I like the little detail, the attention to details, the sports feel, that what it has. So exciting show, man. Better than last week. They have my attention now. I love the scorekeeping. Sports feel mixed with good old-fashioned pro wrestling booking storylines, that sports entertainment feel with promos and that. It's simple yet effective. So this new school in-ring action like the Bucks and Omega and others with good in-ring psychology from guys like Chris Jericho. It's a great mix that they have, and I can't wait to see who else they get in there and just to see how AEW continues to evolve, man. It continues to grow, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm recording this the day before, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow and seeing week 3, but that's my take on week 3. And one question I'll throw you guys there, and you can put it in the comments or that, and I'll leave you with this, so I put that in my notes. Question: what makes AEW and NXT an alternative? What makes it the alternative? Is it the in-ring action? Is it the storytelling? Is it the presentation? Or is it mostly the freedom that they give these guys creatively in the ring, on the mic, instead of the overly scripted WWE main roster? So what do you guys think it is? Anyway, man, that's my feel there on the Wednesday Night War. And, well, check it out, man. Check out my Best Damn Universe Mode, ECW, coming up on Thursday. Check out Boss's channel. He's got some awesome stuff coming out. He just had TNA, his first pay-per-view, Genesis. And, again, Boss is not here today, but he will be joining me, hopefully, for future unofficial podcast here. Anyway, you guys have a good night, morning, day, whatever the hell it is when you guys hear this. And remember to hit that like button, subscribe, help the channel out, man. We're up to 500, and we're going to continue to grow, baby. Thank you for being here in the J-Dogg Nation Network. Keep it tight.